This year in the 2019 legislative session, I filed 2 bills to help protect Hoosiers from gun violence. After years of epidemic gun violence and shootings in schools, I filed 1 bill that would require that we close the loophole that allows people to buy guns through private purchases without a background check. So this can be at gun shows or out of the trunk of a car. My bill simply says that if there's a purchase or sale of a gun, it has to be done through a registered dealer so that we can do the full federal background check on the purchase. That's something that is supported by 80% of the people in Indiana. 70% of gun owners support that legislation, and even 60% of National Rifle Association members support that requirement. So again, it's a common sense measure. It has not been heard yet in committee in the Indiana legislature. Another bill I had just to keep guns out of the hands of children or people that have been deemed dangerous or not able to have the responsibility of having a gun or access to a gun. And that just requires safe storage. If a person has a reasonable expectation that a child may be able to get a hold of their gun, or somebody who isn't supposed to, they just need to have a trigger lock. It's a matter of a couple of dollars, or they can have their gun in a gun safe. Many of the school shootings, the child actually gets a hold of the gun in their own home, and this would help protect that. So in Indiana, we've had discussions of how do we harden our schools? How do we turn our schools into fortresses? How do we arm teachers and train teachers to carry weapons? We've even had bills to add bleed kits, so tourniquet kits to schools, so that once the violence happens, the kids can help get medical care. But what we haven't done is really attack the root cause of the problem, and that's the ability of kids to get access to these dangerous weapons. I've added my amendments with that language to ongoing bills that are in the legislature, and have not had any success. The Republican supermajority, at the behest of the National Rifle Association, has repeatedly stopped these amendments from being added to legislation. We've had legislation, for instance, that rightfully adds some restrictions to our red flag law, so that if somebody is deemed dangerous, their weapons can be taken away from them. But there's nothing in there that would say that if that person who had their weapons taken away, if they moved to a different home, would then be unable to access weapons at this new home. So the safe storage bill would solve that problem. Part of the issue is the background checks. If somebody's deemed dangerous, they should not buy a weapon, but again, without these loopholes closed in our background check requirements, that they can still buy weapons. Both of those are common sense additions to the bills moving forward. We'll still try to get them as second amendments or amendments in bills before they're passed this session. But for that, we need people to contact their legislators, let them know that this is an important issue, and these are common sense fixes to the problem of gun violence in Indiana.